Well, it is Monday here with Longshore and Knight. So glad you are with us. Presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The holiday spirit. Barry McKnight enjoying it with a beautiful background there with some crystal clear, turquoise water. I am here at Network Control, and man, yep, we are getting closer to Santa's arrival. You can see on our screen here today. We
I
have some
love this.
Christmas
Yes,
decorations there.
it is very nice. I'm here at the beach, Panama City Beach, with family, and just absolutely beautiful here. I'm in shirt sleeves. It's a little weird. I got in yesterday after my Troy basketball game, Troy Open Conference play, big win for Georgia State. Came down here and listening on the way all of the first round college football games where they're talking about 23 degrees, snow here, snow there. And here we are in Panama City Beach, and it's beautiful. Yesterday was, Saturday was a big thud, if you ask me. And I don't know, it's just happenstance. It's just circumstance. You can miss me with all of this. Well, there were several teams that just simply didn't belong. And it was just 4 blowout games without a whole lot of suspense at the end.
Well,
sometimes life is that way, you know?
I'm with you, Barry. There are a couple of things about the weekend's college football playoff action that caught my attention. First and foremost, the home crowds. The crowds were great. The home field advantage seemed to be pretty big. Certainly the energy and the excitement was what they were looking for. The games being played, not so much. Matter of fact, I think we even mentioned on Friday that by 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, you will have forgotten about SMU. And I think people have already forgotten about them, as well as Indiana. I thought the Texas-Clemson game was really good. I think Clemson had a chance. They never were going to win it, but I think they had chances to keep it closer.
Right.
And Tennessee was a deer in the headlights. They were just from the get-go. They were down 21, and they're thinking, whoa. And their 40,000 fans that made the trip to Columbus are thinking, we're sitting out here in 25-degree weather to see this?
All of those people who were thinking, I'm going to take a pass on that Tennessee game. I'm a Vol fan. I'm going to wait until the next round. Well, you seem like the smart ones. And you mentioned mistakes on Saturday. First of all, we are here to recap it all. And we got plenty of strong opinions. I will, and of course, on the Monday show, of course, he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, brought to you by Bud Light. Wishing everybody a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas and all that. And for me and for a lot of people, the holidays mean college football.
Yes.
And I think the keynote, you mentioned it, John, the keynote of all of the games on Saturday were mistakes. Friday, too. Indiana made a jillion mistakes. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Holly Rowe was interviewing Kurt Signetti during the game, which I do not like. And he said, well, we missed the gap on the 98-yard run, and we missed a couple of overthrows and all that. SMU comes in. They throw 2 pick sixes early. Clemson, John, would have been right in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing their hearts out, but good gosh, did they make a lot of mistakes? It was that way. Yep. You can say the same thing about Tennessee, although Tennessee had a lot of injuries. When Dylan Sampson couldn't play, John,
over.
Done.
Yep.
No chance.
Yep, you're exactly right about that. I was impressed the way Clemson threw the football. We've been talking the last several weeks. They're at the bottom of D1 football in terms of passing efficiency. And they really threw the ball well. I think maybe caught Texas a little off guard with the way they were able to throw the ball yesterday. Mistakes killed them, no doubt. They weren't going to win the game, but certainly could have maybe made it closer. Tennessee never was in the game. And I got to tell you, for some Bama fans, Barry, they really took enjoyment in that. That's their biggest rival. You might have heard that before.
I've heard that before. I don't believe that. But I have heard that.
So the Bama fan took some enjoyment seeing Tennessee getting humiliated, and they needed it, Barry. Let me tell you why. I got the vibe. I got the feeling. I could sense it from the responses I was getting via text, emails, phone calls, you name it. And I even noticed it a little bit too. Barry, this weekend was tough for Bama fan. It was tough for them to see other programs just, reveling in the excitement and the glory of the college football playoff now with 12 teams. Bama fan didn't like that. They didn't like seeing College game day at South Bend on Friday. They didn't like seeing it in Columbus on Saturday. All these people talking about everybody but them.
In December and in January, to their credit, John, and I got to give credit where credit's due, I always have, the Bama fans, and I agree with you 100%, it was a tough weekend for them this past weekend, but to their credit, they didn't react in a petty way on social media. They didn't react with their lips poked out and making all of these posts about, well, it's obvious we belonged and SMU did not. What in the world were they thinking putting Indiana in instead of us? And I guarantee you we would have given Texas a better game than Clemson. I'm glad to see that Bama fans, they forsook doing any of that because they realized that they had their chance during the regular season and kicked it. Good for you guys.
A little unexpected self-control. I got to tell you, I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Tighter Insider to be blowing up with SMU sucks, Indiana's terrible, Clemson shouldn't be here. Well, now, I did see Jordan Rogers. He kind of tweeted something out saying, hey, tried to tell you, got to get the 12 best. It ain't, don't be giving me these records and, undefeated and blah, blah, blah. Appreciate that, Jordan, but it's not going to help out this year. Maybe the committee will kind of look a little differently among things from years to come as the playoff goes into, its second year next year before they revamp it. But as I sat there and watched all that, I'm thinking, this has got to be tough for Bama fan. And then the hype and the lead up to the Ohio State-Tennessee game, and they're thinking, whoa, not them. What? Are you kidding me?
All of the activity. A couple of things about the run-up, probably with a little bit of relation and perspective to the Alabama fans. Nick Saban, Nick he didn't look very comfortable and happy up on that stage himself, to be honest. He was a little snooty. He was a little bit grouchy.
And that little smart aleck comedian that does those Bud Light commercials, great product. He didn't like that guy either.
He wasn't having any bit of him. Does a great job in promoting Bud Light. I hope we do as well. But I'm telling you, he was not real happy about it. And I can imagine Bama fans thinking, what we could have done? We could have made that play. We could have made that throw and all that.
Sure.
So it's a little bit of a difficult weekend this past weekend for Bama fans, and I'm here to tell you, I'm here for you.
We are too. We're going to take a quick break there. Our man Tom Luganville going to join us a little earlier here today than normal. Tom obviously very busy. He was at the Penn State SMU game. You saw him on the sidelines. He'll join us after this quick timeout.
Yep, we are underway. John Longshore, Barry McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
The Victoryland Casino 8 days of giveaways is going on now. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right. Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Holidays for Marguerite's, and every year we do an unbelievable $99 Christmas special, and it's got to be 14 karat white or yellow gold, and it's got to be high quality Marguerite's diamonds. Well, this year it's the best one ever. It's individual 14 karat letters that we've cut out and added a 7-point diamond to on a 14 karat necklace. Impossible. That's right. All the initial diamond necklaces, $99 at Marguerite's till Christmas. Happy holidays for Marguerite's.
You know all about the 12 Days of Christmas, but what about the 12 Days of Dixie? We're giving away 12 of this year's hottest holiday gifts. Just go to facebook.com/Dixie Electric Plumbing Air and comment on the daily prize post using the hashtag 12 Days of Dixie, and you're automatically entered to win. The winner's name is posted on Facebook the following day with the opportunity to enter daily. The 12 Days of Dixie is going on right now.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Monday. And we, of course, are joined by Tom Luginbill. He, of course, college football analyst for ESPN. He is brought to you exclusively by Riverbank and Trust. Experience banking above and beyond with Riverbank and Trust, locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. I believe Tom's heading to the airport this morning. Hey, Tom, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Man, you sound great to us, although it must have been kind of a busy weekend for you. Voice is holding out well. Tell us, first of all, the perspective about SMU Penn State on Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning. What it seems as though the atmosphere was dynamite, everything the college football playoff could hope for. The football, Tom, not so much.
Yeah, listen, it was a phenomenal atmosphere to have a whiteout at Penn State. That's a bucket list for any college football fan or broadcaster. It's my second one, but haven't had one during the day. The temperatures were pure college football in the wintertime, man. It was windy. It was about 12 degrees wind chill, about 22 degrees temperature. I was out in it for about 7 hours when you include the pregame show and the game and then the postgame show. And listen, this game played out really no different than the other three games played out. And, you know, it's really easy for everybody. I go back to Friday night, right? And, you know, we see the Indiana Notre Dame contest. We see how the game was played out. And then next thing you know, everything starts coming unglued on social media. You've got Lane Kiffin acting like a child. You have all of these memes popping up. But the reality is, at the end of the weekend, guys, nobody was immune from that type of criticism. You can't just say, oh, well, SMU didn't belong. Oh, well, Indiana didn't belong. Clemson didn't belong. You know, you don't get to say those things. Tennessee didn't belong. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows if you would have put Alabama in or if you would have put South Carolina in, if they're all of a sudden going to have a different contest. Listen, the home field advantage clearly played a distinct role in this very first round games, and the weather did too. And the bottom line is the winning teams played better. They handled the environment better, and they hadn't playing at home played a big role.
You know, Tom, I thought all of the environments were phenomenal.
They were.
The host teams, the host cities just did a great. You could feel the excitement, the energy through the television screen. I just thought that was so well done. And I think college football fans across the country liked it. I think they love the home game, you know, first rounds on a college campus. That is so unique. And I thought it went off just fabulously.
Just imagine if we moved towards doing that in the quarterfinals. Penn State going to Boise State.
Right.
Can you imagine that one? I mean, what would happen to the city of Boise hosting a college football playoff game? I mean, it would be magical. It really would, right? And so, yes, I think the home field advantage, getting to earn that slot, having it start on Friday night to give everybody a little bit of a tire, having weather involved, everybody won in that regard. But I go back to what I said about, you know, teams not belonging and things of that nature. Here's the deal. If we're going to say somebody didn't belong, we're going to have to say 4 teams didn't belong. And if you want to change that, then we're going to have to change the process. We're going to have to change the criteria for how we select teams, because everybody, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and everybody's got all the answers after a game has been played. And that's, to be honest with you, is a shame, because that's not reality.
Well, Pat Dye used to say hindsight's 50-50, and there's not nothing you can do about it now. From what you saw from Penn State, does Boise State have a legitimate chance, Tom?
Yeah, I think they do. You know, the way this game was played, it was very interesting, and it gets glossed over because of the mistakes and the turnovers in the first half from SMU on offense.
Right.
But you've got to remember that Penn State could not move the football on SMU. They scored 14 points on defense and did not score an offensive point until there was 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And so, Penn State did not look like they were dialed in. They struggled on third down. They struggled on fourth down. They could not sustain drives. SMU was their own worst enemy and completely self-destructed with self-inflicted wounds. And then those wounds resulted on points, which buried them into a hole. Then you get into the second half, and I think once SMU got off schedule, meaning that they could no longer run the ball, they were done. And then that's when the SMU defense started to really get tired. And you would if you were on the field for that long. And then that also is when the run game for Penn State really started to take over. It was kind of like this bigger, faster, stronger mentality was able to create opportunities for Penn State down the stretch. But they're going to have to be a much better football team on offense, in my opinion, to be able to go out and dominate somebody like Boise State. And here's what's going to happen, guys, because we just played this record over the last 48 hours. If Penn State goes out and plays lights out in the Fiesta Bowl and they beat up on Boise State, now we're going to have the discussion of, well, Boise State didn't belong. Why did we allow a group of five team in? The group of five isn't strong enough. I mean, this is just going to be a reoccurring cycle that we're going to fall into. But I will say this about Boise State. This is going to be the first time, in my opinion, with that Penn State defense, that instead of focusing on Ashton Jeanty, Boise State's going to need their quarterback to play well. Because if I'm Penn State, I'm going to line up 8 and 9 in the box, and I'm going to dare Boise State to beat me through the air. And if you beat me with your quarterback and you do it without Ashton Jeanty, then we're going to shake your hand and say, good luck, you beat us.
Tom, I'm a big uniform guy. I got to tell you, I didn't like Ohio State in all red last night, but I was really more curious about why did Penn State elect to put numbers on their helmet?
It's an old John Capoletti uniform.
I love that reference. Yes.
Yeah, with a blue pinstripe down the side of the pant and then adding the number. They rarely do it. I've seen it before. Sometimes they'll go out there and they'll throw a name on the back of the jersey. They don't do that often either. Right. That was just what they chose to do. The fans really reacted to it. I mean, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And you see those old unis and you're watching them and you're like, and you're in that stadium and you're in Happy Valley and you think of the history there. And it's a pretty amazing environment. And if you haven't been there, if you have the opportunity to make a road trip late in the fall, you want to be there when it's cold, right? And you want to see them play somebody that's pretty good. Try to get to a night game. It will blow your mind.
The other three matchups that will take place now, since we've seen what happened over the weekend, your thoughts about how those matchups will play out?
Well, listen, I think that Georgia's going to have their hands full. That team we watched Friday night, guys, they could win the national championship.
Yep.
Because they have two things that travel. They can stop the run and they can run the football at will. And now you're going to play a Georgia team who athlete by athlete will match up very, very well, if not better in some spots with Notre Dame. The difference is you're going to have an inexperienced quarterback that when you come off the bench and you play the way you played against Texas in the SEC championship game, all of the excitement is now behind Gunnar Stockton, but it still doesn't change the fact that he's young, he's inexperienced, and Georgia hasn't been able to consistently run the football. And I think that against Notre Dame and their ability to stop the run, they're going to try to make this a one-dimensional Georgia offense and put the ball in the hands of an inexperienced quarterback. Yep. I'd be very, very worried about Notre Dame because there's just something about, if you wanted to define the eye test, they are the picture in the dictionary right now. Because you can say all you want about the schedule and you wouldn't be wrong. But then when you watch how they play, they're just so sound and tough and physical, and they do all of the right things. So I'm excited about that one. And then arguably, if you told me that the version of Ohio State that we saw on Saturday night was going to be the version of Ohio State we were going to see going forward, they're going to win the national championship outright. That's how good they're capable of being.
I was trying to decide after it was all done on Saturday who the best player I saw in the first round was. I loved from Notre Dame. I really like Jeremiah Blue. Had the big critical one for Texas, Jaden Blue. But man, Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. Holy smokes, Tom. A freshman.
He looks like he's you look at these freshman receivers in this class, we've talked about Ryan Williams, we've talked about Cam Coleman, Jeremiah Smith. I mean, you talk about three as advertised dudes coming out of high school. And on top of Jeremiah Smith, you had a quarterback play out of his mind. I mean, Will Howard has not played like that at any point in his entire career when you look at some of the throws that he was making. And like I said, if that's the version we're going to see, it's going to be hard to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at those all red uniforms. I guess I'll just have to if they end up winning it all. But I do wonder, Tom, Oregon, Georgia, Boise, Arizona State, they've been sitting around. They've been relaxing and getting their feet underneath them while these other teams are playing some football. And we've just talked about all of them that are playing well. Notre Dame, Ohio State really look good. Yeah. If I'm a coach of one of those four teams, am I concerned I've had such a long layoff?
I think if you're Arizona State, you are, because Arizona State was so hot and playing so well that you almost wish you could have just rolled into the next week and carried it over, right? So now you probably have the worst draw of the quarterfinal games having to play the University of Texas, who defensively is going to be unlike any other animal that there is in college football in terms of the teams that ASU has played. So I would be concerned. I think Arizona State's a great media darling. I think they earned their way into this thing. They played their butts off the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season and then earned a championship game in the Big 12 championship game. They're a good football team, but it's hard to sustain that type of momentum, energy, and chip. You got a bit of a layoff, and that's the downside sometimes of earning a bye.
Is there anything different that needs to happen in the rematch between Ohio State and Oregon for Ohio? I mean, it was a 1-point game, and it was a phenomenal contest. Can we expect the same thing there?
I think so. Listen, I think we all realize and remember the snafu at the end of the game with the time and game management and how Will Howard ended that game. That's got to be burned into his brain. It's something that he's looking to avenge. And again, if he goes out and he plays like he played on Saturday night, then we're talking about a different Will Howard. The problem is we haven't seen that consistently from Ohio State on offense. That's where you get concerned. We always have the discussion, right? It's tough to beat somebody twice in the same season. And it is. There's legitimacy to that. But the one edge that Oregon has in all of this is they've been the most consistent performer of any team in this tournament when it comes to avoiding the peaks and valleys and revealing deficiencies and warts. Their performance and consistency of performance has not been outmatched by anybody. And that's why Dylan Gabriel, I think, comes in with this offense and this team having a bit of an edge because they haven't shown what we've seen from Texas at times, what we've seen from Georgia at times, what we've seen from Ohio State at times. They've played at such a high level so consistently that I think Ohio State to win that game is going to have to match that. And they haven't shown consistently throughout the season. They've shown flashes. Consistently, they haven't shown they can do that.
So, Tom, as we mentioned, you're heading to the airport. I hope you're going to have a little time at home for Santa's arrival, but then I know you're probably going to be back out on the road again quickly after that. Tell us where you'll be.
Boys, I'm going to be home briefly, and then I have to fly out to Phoenix on Christmas Day afternoon to do the Rate Bowl between what I'm calling the Bloody Your Nose game, Rutgers and Kansas State. If there was ever a blue-collar lunch pail type bowl game, this is going to be it. So we'll have that out in Phoenix, and then I'll go directly from Phoenix to Orlando on that weekend for the Under Armour All-America game. And then, just then, I get a little bit of a little bit of a break, I guess, if you will, to sit back and take a little breath. So I can see the light at the end of that tunnel. It's just not quite there yet.
If you'll favor me, one more question about that. You mentioned the Under Armour All-American Bowl in Orlando. Tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about that.
Well, it's been something we've been doing for 18 years now.
Right.
We just had our third Heisman Trophy winner with Travis Hunter. We've had others like Jameis Winston, Amari Cooper, Jadeveon Clowney, AJ Green, Julio Jones. It's a who's who of the elite high school football players coming together. You get 90 of them on the field for a week at one time. And what's interesting, guys, is we're in this name, image, and likeness era, right? We're in this portal era. We're in the enroll early and be able to practice with your team for a bowl game. So what's happened is over the last 2 to 3 years, and we could see it coming, we just have to deal with it, is we're having teams opt out of the game or players opt out of the game, just like you do with college kids opting out of a bowl game. And so what we've started to move towards is we're now blending underclassmen with upperclassmen. So we're going to have a roster full of not just seniors that have already signed or graduating, but underclassmen kids in the 2026 class. And as if this keeps evolving, I could see this thing turning into, an underclassmen All-America game going forward to avoid the opt-outs and kids not playing, because those kids would still then be a year away.
Right.
Yeah, that's smart. That's awesome. We'll definitely be checking that out. Well, Tom, once again, have a very Merry Christmas. Know you've been traveling a lot. Know you're looking forward to being with the family. And, man, we will talk to you next Monday. Looking forward to it.
As always, guys, appreciate you having me. Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. Tom Luginbill joins us, brought to you by River Bank and Trust. I'm telling you, John, he's money every time we get
no
him.
doubt. One of our favorite guests. I know our listeners and viewers really enjoy hearing what Luginbill has to say. Yep, local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference, and they invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond with River Bank and Trust. All right, we got a lot going on here on this Monday. Barry, there were a ton. Everybody was focused on the college football playoff over the weekend. Man, we had Saturday NFL as well. We had great college basketball. I mean, I even took a look at an NBA game or two for just a minute. But there was a lot going on in the world of sports. We got a Monday night game in the NFL tonight. I'm not sure who's doing the scheduling, but we'll get into that a little later as well, too. But a lot to talk about. And when we come back from our next break, we've had several people ask us, who is leading the Longshore McKnight Bowl prediction contest? When we return, we're going to show you when we get back.
We got an update coming with Longshore and McKnight. It's all in conjunction with Yellowhammer News. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Longshore and McKnight is presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to $15,000 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, $15,000 off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to $10,000 off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Stivers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Stivers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars. Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. Okay, back at it here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Glad you're with us here on this Monday, a couple of days before Santa's arrival. We will let you know we will not be on tomorrow, Tuesday, or the following day, Wednesday. We're going to take a couple of days off. Much needed, if we do say so ourselves. But we will be back on Thursday.
Yes, we will. Big shout out. Happy birthday today to John Longshore, celebrating another one today.
Woo,
I don't know why it turns out this way, John, because we never hear about it ahead of time. John always keeps it kind of quiet.
Just kind of throw it at you.
Yeah, just kind of throw it. So happy birthday to John. If you see him during the day and during the week, tell him, hey, another one, John?
It's more. They are, and they're coming. They seem to be coming more frequently. They get here a lot quicker now. I don't know what the deal is with the birthdays. All of the young ones are saying, okay, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm thinking, it's my birthday. Why don't y'all go plan something for me? I'm thinking, wait a minute, you want me to plan my own birthday? Wait a minute.
Come on now. Yeah, come on. Be a little creative here.
Yeah, give me a break here. Okay, so I think Gern has got a page that we can show about what's going on with the Longshore McKnight Bowl Prediction Contest. So we've had a lot of people that have asked us. There it is.
Yes. Yep. This is, as of right now, this correct. Is, all of the playoff games. There's bowl games going on through the week and through the holiday as well. This is updated right to the moment. You can go if you can't read it or want to, or like me, if you're not on that particular top of the first page, like me, and you wonder where in the world you are, just go to Yellowhammer News. There's a big icon there, Longshore and McKnight, the Bowl Prediction Contest, and you can hunt yours up. Once again, John, I got to tell you, since we're in the season of gratitude, we are grateful. This is we've done it for many, many, many years in our previous association on the radio. This is the first one we've done with Longshore and McKnight specifically, and John, the reaction and the input has been just amazing, and we are gratified by all of that.
Yeah, we really are. Really appreciate our friends at Yellowhammer News, where you went to enter into this bowl prediction contest. So great help and assistance from Yellowhammer News. Always check them out at yellowhammernews.com. There's a feature about Longshore McKnight each and every afternoon, kind of a brief write-up about what the show was about, some video content as well. You can watch the show on Facebook, obviously, on the Yellowhammer News Facebook page, or Longshore and McKnight. Of course, it's on YouTube live as you're watching it, and it streams throughout the day. Spotify as well. A lot of great content on Instagram that is featured, so we really appreciate that. But Barry, looking at some of the folks on the list, I mean, some of these names: Big Lou 77, Roy D. Mercer, Pittsburgh Feeler.
Yeah. I wonder if he's a big fan of the trade for Russell. No, wait a minute. Never mind. I just reread the name. Sorry. Never mind. I'm not sure he's a Pittsburgh fan.
Range Pro Jr. is in one of the top spots. Hobnob, Tin Cup. And I'm not going to, let's see. I don't know who. That's an interesting one. I don't know who.
That's so whenever he or she wins it, they can say, hey, John, who won the bowl prediction contest? I don't know who. Well, you can tell me. No, I don't know who. Yeah.
Bill from Baltimore's up there. We got Go Aubie. Yeah, those are the ones. How about the ones that the Longshore's daddy or Longshore sucks? Where are those? I hadn't seen those this year.
Not as many so far, but that'll grow. Next year, I imagine, once a lot of people who are new to our format and new to our association will probably get that one as well. But
I see here as well, Barry, and I just noticed this.
Yeah.
I got a very good friend. He's a big Auburn guy. Lives out in Palm Springs, California. I'm actually going to visit him next month.
I mean, you did that like once a year with a lot of your buddies, right?
He's now he's got some work to do. I'm about to text him right now, but I just noticed he's on this list as well. He's got a little work to do.
Which is surprising to me, because I would think Auburn fan will have a little extra time to look over the matchups a little more. They can think a little more dispassionately about the bowls, because They're not in it.
No.
So I figure they may have a little free time to really take a look at it without any ulterior motives or any preconceived notions. But so far, your buddy in Palm Springs hasn't lived up to that.
No, yeah, I'm gonna have to send him a little zinger text here lately. So there you go. I'm
Yep.
looking for Robbie from Greenville. I don't know if Robbie usually uses his real name.
Right.
So I'm gonna scroll through all these later today, Robbie, and see if I can find you. Also, somebody else asked. I think they actually sent an email about it, or maybe it was Curtis that asked. Yeah, Curtis. I think it was you that asked about that. I haven't seen your name either, but that doesn't mean throughout the day when I scroll through, I won't find them.
Right.
Also, before we move back into a little sports programming, Barry, I was really, really floored, in some way, excited. I had a gentleman come up to me recently and say, man, y'all's conversation about unfrosted Pop-Tarts, I had to stop what I was doing. I'm thinking, I thought I was the only one that really enjoyed unfrosted Pop-Tarts. And he just went on about how much he enjoyed our discussion about it. And so I thought I'd bring a box up here today. This is the see the green label right there? That's what you're looking for.
Right. You're
It's
looking for the green label.
Yeah, it says unfrosted.
John says you can also look for the green label at the ABC store, but this the Pop-Tarts, it tastes like a by God Pop-Tart when it's unfrosted. When you get it frosted and you got multicolored sprinkles and stuff,
Get it.
John, I'm a grown man, I ain't sitting down to breakfast with anything with white icing and multicolored sprinkles on it.
Yeah.
Or a little cinnamon dusting or something like that. This is America. Come on.
I don't know, Barry. There's a Publix near where I live. They don't sell anything unfrosted. Every Pop-Tart they've got's got frosting. I got to go talk to the manager.
There's no reason for that.
There is no. I actually get these, Barry, down in Florida. This is where I get. So it's like I'm bootlegging Pop-Tarts.
So you've got a source.
Yeah.
You've got a Florida source for your.
I know a man.
Hey man.
And yeah,
I'm running low, man. Can you? Can you help me?
Not only do I bootleg my liquor, I'm bootlegging my Pop-Tarts because I can't find unfrosted anywhere. But this store, it's called Greer's. It's a family grocery store chain down there. And man, they got now, of course, they got blueberry and strawberry and maybe something else. But they certainly have the brown sugar cinnamon, which is my favorite.
Sugar, which is the best. Yeah. It's just eerie because John and I usually don't agree on anything. In the sports world and in real life, but this is one of the things that he's actually dead on about. Unfrosted. Don't get caught up in the hype. Frosted Pop-Tarts are just for selling. You got some suit up in some high rise in New York City at some focus group meeting for his company saying, well, we hear 53% actually prefer white frosted. No, come on. The people have spoken. John says, give me my unfrosted Pop-Tarts, and he has reached an audience. Man comes right up to him and says, hey, John, I'm with you. We are team unfrosted together. Let's start the movement. And
I've had some people say, man, you're crazy. You got to go. I say, I don't want to hear it. You are deaf to me. I can't hear you. So just
That's exactly right.
All right, Barry,
you can disagree with me, but you would be wrong. So.
You would be wrong.
Yep.
So I got to tell you, and I've been saying this for weeks now, I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't like to do that. I don't like to self-promote.
But every once in a while, we used to always say to each other, if we don't toot our own horn, who will?
You got that right.
Sometimes the time is right for a little tooting.
I said it weeks ago. I feel even stronger about it today. Auburn is the best college basketball team in America. I don't see another team that's even in their league right now.
A little story there. On Saturday, right before I came down here to Panama City Beach with family for the holidays, I did television for Troy men's basketball versus Georgia State. Troy wins it by 20-something.
Oh, wow.
Against Georgia State. The play-by-play announcer for Georgia State's a guy named Dave Cohen. He has been at it for 44 years. He has been the voice of Georgia State for 44 years. He told me before the game, he and I were visiting. I'm asking a little bit about the team, what to look for and all that. He said, your buddy Andy Burcham said to say hello, and Andy's one of my dearest friends in the world. And he said, I got to tell you, that's the best basketball team I've ever seen. Now, Georgia State hasn't played everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they hadn't played vintage Duke or, those great Michigan teams or Kentucky or UCLA or anything like that. But in 44 years, he said, that's the best basketball team I've ever seen. And they weren't even playing with Johni Broome, but for about 2 minutes, remember, because of the shoulder. So,
and they're 300 teams, D1, something like that.
330.
I hadn't seen them all either. But I've seen the top teams. I mean, I know who's in the top 25 and who's supposedly good, but I haven't seen one as good as Auburn. And you think about that team that made the Final Four. I mean, in the regular season, we weren't going, man, this team's great. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they were good, and they had their ups and downs and had some losses and whatnot. But, I mean, this team is just solid. I mean, I don't see a weakness anywhere. Play great defense. Got great players coming off the bench. They can score. They're hustling great in transition. They're going to be very hard to beat.
Here's the thing, and you said this, I guess it was a little bit more than a week ago, and I thought it was spot on. Can do everything. Johni Broome may be the best player in the he can shoot the three, he can rebound, he hits the offensive glass, very fundamentally sound. They shoot it well with Baker Mazzara and Miles Kelly and Pettiford. They're very proficient defensively. I like the way Cardwell has been kind of a supplement to Johni Broome. But you said this, and they do everything well. But you said this, and I think this is really the hallmark. John, they play so hard all the time. Now, you said that. You made that point, and you're exactly right. In comparison with another basketball team who you said sometimes it strikes you that maybe they don't play as hard. But that's the thing that will get them through a really tough SEC. That's the thing that will help them at the end of very tough basketball games in the postseason. John, every Bruce Pearl team does this, but this one maybe more so than any. They get after it for 40 minutes, everybody, all the time.
Tenacious. I like that word. Tenacious.
Yes. Yeah.
They do. They play extremely hard. You can see it. I mean, once again, I'm a big eye test guy. And my eye tells me something different about Auburn than they do about Alabama. And you just explained what it was.
Yeah. Well,
I know it's
bogarting off of your observation, but I do think you're dead on there.
And it's a long season. Going on the SEC road is not easy. And as Bart Heisch told us a couple of weeks ago, and Bart will be back after the first of the year, there are a lot of good teams in the SEC this year. A lot. So going on the road in the league is going to be tough. You're not going to win every one of them.
Yeah, this ain't going to be a 31-1 team. Well, just by the nature of the circumstances they find themselves in this incredibly tough league. You're right.
Yeah, but I think I saw where Lunardi right now has Auburn as the overall number 1 seed.
Yep, you're right. You're exactly right. And they deserve it. You know what it is, though? Here we are. It is December 23rd. And it don't mean a thing right now. Number one in any power ranking, in Ken Palm or Bart Torvik or any of that, doesn't mean a thing on December 23rd. But they've got to look.
I was in Birmingham Saturday afternoon and was in some shops and whatnot and was eating lunch, and I saw a lot of Auburn gear. And I'd forgotten about it, actually. Just, wasn't at the top of my mind. And I thought, wow, Auburn actually is playing in Birmingham today.
Yep.
So there were a lot of people representing the orange and blue and had the AU logo heading to Legacy Arena to watch that game against Purdue, which was never close. I mean, okay, maybe Purdue made a run late when Auburn's got some of the second teamers in there, but that game was never close.
They were in control. Yep, no doubt about it. Should be fun. The conference schedule begins within the week for everybody, and that's going to be must see. I'm telling you, this is going to be maybe the best year ever, up and down, top and bottom in Southeastern Conference basketball.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not so much looking forward to tonight's game in Green Bay. Now, I thought the NFL had this flex schedule. Obviously, they're not using it tonight. Green Bay, Barry, if you're a 14-point underdog in the NFL, that's like a 30-point dog in college.
Well, the Saints at 5-9 and in a bit of a free fall right now are playing the 10-4 Green Bay Packers, who have a ton to play for.
Yes, they do.
If you look at all of the measurables, Green Bay is a better team. If you look at all of the unmeasurables, motivation, what you've got to play for, Green Bay is still the better team.
No doubt.
14-point favorite. The over-under's 42.5 Monday night. What are you thinking? Why in the world? Why would you do that?
I think, tonight, Barry, from what my children tell me, they're going to take Pops out to dinner for his birthday. If the game's on, maybe I take a look. But I'm not real thrilled. I mean, there again, 10 degrees probably at game time. The Saints are an indoor team. This could get ugly early. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And just a little, not overly confident about this one. I don't think ESPN's real thrilled with the fact that they are broadcasting this one tonight from Green Bay. All right, when we come back from our next break, Barry, more college football playoff talk. I kind of want to look ahead a little bit at some of these matchups that are going to be coming up as we move along the college football playoff. And, of course, we got some bowl games. I know there's a lot of people in our bowl prediction contest that are looking out for how these teams are going to play out and perform for them, hopefully help them move up those standings a little bit.
Yeah, some games tonight. We need to point that out when we were giving the standings for our bowl prediction contest. Somebody is going to win a travel voucher, a big travel voucher from the Montgomery Regional Airport. Plus, there's also that vibe, that aura that goes along with being our bowl prediction champion. Next couple of look, in our bowl prediction contest, every game is weighted the same as every other game. So, say tonight's Myrtle Beach Bowl means just as much as the ReliaQuest Bowl.
And Barry, that's why we make the bowl season worth it. Would you really
more interesting?
Yeah, would you really care about that game tonight, tomorrow, whenever? You do now, because it can help you move up in the standings.
Yep. Just go to yellowhammernews.com to check your spot in the standings. Our thanks to the Montgomery Regional Airport and everybody who's helping to sponsor our event. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest-ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us. Got about 10 minutes before the top of the hour here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. I guess, looking at the schedule, Barry, we have 2 bowl games today. One's coming on in a not too long from right now, actually.
Yeah, right.
And I'm thinking, were they scared of putting those bowl games on up against this St. Packer game tonight? I don't know.
I don't know why, but yeah, I bet that had a lot to do with it. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and it begins this morning. Coastal Carolina, who's playing at home, by the way. It's actually in Conway, against UT San Antonio. It's the Chanticleers versus the Roadrunners this morning. And then this afternoon, 1:30, it's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Northern Illinois, who's riding that win that they had over Notre Dame, which, what in the heck was that?
I'm saying, wait a minute, you beat Notre Dame and you get a bowl game at 1:30 on a Monday in Idaho? Really?
I think Northern Illinois is 6-6.
Oh,
That's one of the big upsets of the last 10 years, for goodness sakes. Anyway, they take on Fresno State this afternoon. The people in Boise are having just a smorgasbord. It's an absolute buffet. They got to look excited for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, but they got their minds on the college football playoff, which is coming up this weekend.
all right, you got to help me with this one.
All right.
South Florida, who played Alabama this year in Tuscaloosa,
Yes.
taking on San Jose State. This game's tomorrow night.
Right.
It is the Hawaii Bowl. Who was Clarence T.C. Ching? Now, I know there was a Timmy Chang.
No, yeah. Who is the head coach at Hawaii, by the way? TC is a initialization of a proper name of Chinese origin. It's like Tai Chin Ching. Anyway, they're playing tomorrow night in Honolulu, Christmas Eve at 7 o'clock Central Time, the Bulls versus the Spartans in Honolulu. As John well knows and has much lamented, there is no more Aloha Stadium.
No, there's not.
It got so decrepit and so rusty and so mildewy and so moldy that they couldn't even renovate it. It was already too far gone. So they imploded it. They're going to build a new one. I'm not sure what in the world it's going to look like. But until then, for the last 2 years, 2 seasons, Hawaii Rainbow Warrior football has played their home games at TC Ching, the complex. It's not even, it is maybe 6,000 seats. John.
So
maybe 6,000. It's like playing a major bowl game. Yeah, it might be. It's like playing a bowl game in the bowl rotation between 2 Division I college football teams at the St. James Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
Something like that. Something
when
along that. And it probably won't be as well attended.
I don't think it will be either. I can't imagine many South Florida fans spending Christmas Eve out there watching that game. But I tell you, Barry, when I hear the initials TC, I'm thinking of TC Chin, who double hit it in the U.S. Open years ago and got penalized, which now is not a penalty stroke anymore. They've changed that rule, but anytime somebody double hit a chip shot out of the rough, they'd say, man, you just TC Chinned it. That cost you a shot. No, who else has initials TC and then has a name King?
Speaking of Hawaii, wasn't the helicopter operator in Magnum PI, wasn't he TC?
He was TC.
Am I totally wrong?
Was.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. Yeah. I don't think his last name was Ching.
He didn't look Oriental.
Played by the late great Roger Mosley. By the way.
I don't think he looked Oriental, but I could be wrong.
I don't even know that we can say Orient. I want to get there.
And who was the other guy? Rick? Wasn't Rick? The other guy was named Rick.
Yeah. Rick, played by Larry Manetti, and then you had Robin Masters.
Yeah.
No. Who was the caretaker? Played by John Hillerman.
Higgins.
The very Higgins. Golly, where's my head? You're exactly right. But anyway, on Christmas Day, you've got the Game Above Sports Bowl. In Detroit. You've got the Rate Bowl, which is actually that's on Thursday. There is no Christmas Day bowl game. On Thursday, you've got Rutgers versus Kansas State in the Rate Bowl. That's the one that Tom Luganville is going to do. And then down in Mobile on the day after Christmas, Boxing Day.
Yeah.
It's Arkansas State versus Bowling Green on Thursday night. So that's the near future, the midweek games in the bowl season.
But how about this, Barry? We have the NFL spreading things out, and this week they're certainly doing it. 2 games on Christmas. Robbie, I hope you have Netflix because Kansas City at Pittsburgh, 12 noon on Christmas Day is on Netflix.
The word is that Netflix is going to hop in to sports programming big. And this is kind of their first foray. They've done some stuff, like they had that horrific Mike Tyson Jake Paul bout with that statuesque ring girl from the University of Alabama. That was Netflix. You okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That was Netflix. But I'm telling you, Dee and I, we are Netflix subscribers. We watch a good bit of Netflix. A lot of people do. If Netflix gets in to the sports programming business, I'd like to see, for instance, the Braves be on Netflix, just so you know where they are every night. So me and my buddies who are watching the Braves say at lunch, hey, what are the Braves on tonight? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Netflix is going to get into the sports programming business big time, whether they get into things like the NBA or Major League Baseball or college football. Remains to be seen, but that's a coming thing that will.
Well, I think it is, and I'm a Netflix guy as well, Barry. I liked some of their programs. Just got through watching season 3 or 4 of The Lincoln Lawyer. It was good.
Yeah, I love
what season it was. Yeah, that was a good one. Netflix is also, and I did not know this. I saw the release over the weekend, and it's coming this summer, probably right around media days, I would imagine. But Netflix had really just all access, uninterrupted, so they could film and be around most of the SEC football programs, kind of a behind the scene, behind the curtain type deal. I'm sure it's kind of like Hard Knocks a little bit, I would imagine.
If I remember correctly, Ole Miss has got lots of access from them. There's a couple of others.
Auburn did as well. Right. Several schools, most of them. Alabama did not. Nor did Texas.
It doesn't seem like Alabama would be interested in something.
Yeah, and I'm going to say there were 4 schools that did not participate. Texas and Alabama were 2 of the 4 that did not, but 12 of the 16 did. Auburn was 1, Ole Miss was 1, Florida, I believe, but Alabama was not, as I mentioned. The league was very apprehensive about it. They didn't want to do this, but it's interesting, Barry. As they thought about it and discussed it, they realized if we don't do it, the Big Ten's going to do it. So they kind of, I don't want to say caved, but in this era of, needing the exposure and wanting to be the big dog, they agreed to do it, but they left it up to the schools to ultimately decide if they wanted to. And 12 of the 16 did. But I thought that was interesting that they were a little worried about the Big Ten doing it, and they felt like, we better do this.
Probably a little bit more than a little worried about that. Yeah, I for anybody who just rejects that out of hand and says, no, they won't think that way. They're the SEC. What are they doing worrying about the Big Ten? No, I guarantee you what John says is true.
So I'll be looking forward to seeing what that is all about later this summer on Netflix. But you're right, 2 games Christmas Day on Netflix, then it's Prime Video on Thursday. Then on Saturday, it's the NFL Network. So, folks, Robbie, you in particular, look, the days of Fox and CBS,
they're winding down. They're winding down. Yeah. During the week, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and the NFL Network.
Barry, it kind of sounds like another median out there. But anyway,
That is as a matter of fact, there's 2 NFL Network games on Saturday. 3 NFL Network games on Saturday. The only CBS and Fox games all week this coming week are on Sunday.
Yep.
That's it.
That's exactly right. The normal time. Only 2 afternoon games, and guess who one of them is? The Dallas Cowboys playing at Philadelphia, 3:25 on Fox. I don't even know what Dallas's record is anymore. I know they're terrible.
6-8.
And then you got the Falcons at Washington on Sunday. Now, I don't know what it is about the NFC South. I know Tampa's having a pretty good year. They're going to win the division, but this has been really, really tough. It's just no good.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, you've been able to see Barry. He's got the umbrella behind him now. The weather absolutely gorgeous there on the Florida Gulf Coast. He is going to go enjoy that beautiful weather. I don't blame him. I don't know what the water temperature is, Barry. I mean, you might want to stick your toe in just to make sure, but I think it's probably a little frigid.
There's people out there on the beach. There's people out there on the beach. There's one guy who has both feet in the water. He's probably Canadian. Yeah, he probably thinks this is temperate. Yeah.
But it's going to be warm with that sun shining. You can go walk on the beach.
Well, I can tell you this. I'm going to do a lot of that over the next several days. We, of course, will be back in just a little while. Monday, this is our last show until Thursday,
yes,
John. Yes.
It is. And I was thinking about it, Barry, but I'm just going to come clean with our viewers and our listeners. It is Monday, and we've got an hour in the books. Barry's going to go enjoy the beach, and I'm going to go blow out some birthday candles.
Yeah.
So we're going to loop this hour. So you're going to have a chance to see this hour again, and we're going to do it right after this. Folks, have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do here on Longshore McKnight, because we could not do it without you. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the subscriptions. Tell your friends and family. And, of course, we appreciate our association with Yellowhammer News. You can check us out there at yellowhammernews.com. Of course, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook. So many ways to consume what we do here, and we greatly appreciate it.
A heartfelt Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for Gurn Jr., for John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.